righty, let's get busy. Continuing on with volume of cylinders, this time using the volume to find the height of a cylinder. So we're going to find the height of the cylinder, we're going to round to the nearest, the answer to the nearest whole number. And it says volume is 25,000 feet cubed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of things to think about. One, we have a cylinder. And we know that volume of a cylinder is equal to area of the base times the height. And so we recognize that the base is a circle. So we have pi times the radius squared times the height. Well, we don't know the height. And we know that that's equal to the volume, though. And we take a look at what we have. We know we have the volume, so we can shove that in, 25,000. And that's equal to, well, we have pi, 3.14, times the radius. Ooh, we don't have the radius right now. So we come over here and we say, hey, they've got a diameter of 26, so radius is equal to diameter divided by 2. That equals 26 divided by 2, which is 13. So we have 13 squared times our height. What we don't know, we're going to find it out in just a second. So now we just, once we've plugged stuff in, once we've substituted in the appropriate numbers, well, voila, it's straightforward, solving equations. Simplifying, 13 squared is 169 times 3.14 is 530.66. And that is times the height is equal to 25,000. So we're going to divide that by 530 because that's how we isolate our variable. That's how we keep the equation balanced, by doing it to both sides. All these things that come back to mind. And we find that the height is 47.1. And then we're going to round that to the nearest whole number. So the height is approximately 47 feet. Nice. Moving right along one more time. Let's do that one more time. Rounding to the nearest whole number, finding the height of this cylinder. And we know that volume is equal to area of the base times the height. You notice I write this stuff out all the time. Our base for a cylinder is a circle. Pi times the radius squared. We're multiplying that by the height. And we know that this is equal to the volume. And then we start putting in what we know. And it says the volume is 550. And that's equal to 3.14 times the radius. And we didn't get the radius. Once again, they give us the diameter. So diameter divided by 2, 10 divided by 2, that's 5. So we're going 5 squared. And we're going to multiply that by the height. 5 squared is 25. 25 times 3.14 is 78.5 times the height is equal to the volume of 550. Dividing by 78.5, that isolates the variable. We keep the equation balanced by doing both sides. 550 divided by 78.5 is 7.006, and there's more numbers, but we are rounding to the nearest whole number, so we're saying that the height is 7 inches. Nice. Pretty straightforward. So using everything we've talked about, let's put some real-life application into play here. It says your friend's swimming pool is the shape of a rectangular prism with a length of 25 feet, a width of 8 feet, and a height of 5 feet. Your swimming pool is the shape of a cylinder with a with a diameter of 16 feet and has the same volume as your friend's pool. What is the height of your pool? Round your answer to the nearest whole number. So what is our actual question? Our actual question that we have to answer is, what is the height of our pool? We know that our pool is a cylinder. So volume is equal to area of the base times the height. We know that the area of the base, since we have a cylinder, is pi times the radius squared times the height. And this is all equal to the volume. We want to plug stuff in that we know. Well, we don't know our volume yet. We do know that pi is 3.14. We know the radius because it says the diameter of our pool is 16 feet. So we know that the radius is the diameter divided by 2, 16 divided by 2. Our radius is 8. And we don't know our height yet. Well, the height is what we want to know. So we're going to still look for that. But we have to get the volume. Well, how are we going to get the volume? It says our volume is the same as our friend's volume. Same volume. So we're going to have to go to our friend's pool. Our friend's pool is a prism. And volume, again, is equal to area of the base times the height. It says that it's a length of 25, a width of 8, and a height of 5. Well, we know the height is 5, and that means the area of the base is going to be 25. 25 times 8. That's 25 times 8. My bad. 25 times 8. And that's going to be our volume. And so when we multiply 25 times 8 and multiply that by 5, we get 1,000. Okay. And that's feet cubed. So now we come over here and we plug in 1,000. So now we have everything we need. We simplify. 8 squared is 64. 64 times 3.14 is 200.96 times the height is equal to 1,000. So we're going to divide by 200.96 and we get 4.97. Rounding to the nearest whole number, we're going to say that, hey, the height of my pool is the same actually as the height of my friend's pool. 5 feet. So 5 feet is the height of my pool. Wow, amazing how that works out after doing all that math. One more before we finish off this notes with our quick write. It says a cylinder has a surface area of 39 square centimeters and a radius of 6 centimeters. Estimate the volume of the cylinder to the nearest whole number. So we want to find the volume of our cylinder. And we know a volume of a cylinder is area of the base times the height. We know that the base for a cylinder is a circle, pi times the radius squared, multiplied by the height. And that's how we're going to find our volume of the cylinder. Well, there's some things we need to find. Well, we don't know the volume. We do have pi, 3.14. We do have the radius, and that is 6. But we don't have the height, so we can't find the volume until we get the height. How are we going to find the height? Woo! Somebody's probably thinking out there. We can take our surface area formula to find the height. So we've done that before. Surface area is 2 times the area of the base plus the circumference times the height. And we recall that a base is a circle. Oop, I want to use red. And so we have pi times the radius squared. So we have 2 of those. And we're going to multiply that, or excuse me, we're going to add that. Hello, we're going to add that to circumference, which is pi, 2 pi r. And that's times the height. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've always been a fan of factoring. And we're going to pull out a 2, we're going to pull out a pi, and we're going to pull out a radius. And we're going to multiply all that times the radius plus the height. Well, height is what we're looking for. So now we can fill in our numbers. And let's do so. I'm going to go back to black. And I got 2 times 3.14 times our radius. Well, we know our radius, it's 6 centimeters, times 6 plus the height. The height is what we're looking for, and that is equal to the surface area, which they gave us as 339. So you've just got to be logical, sequential. You've got to write stuff out. You've got to keep yourself organized, and now we're just doing the math. 2 times 3.14 times 6. That gives me 37.68. I'm going to multiply that by 6 plus the height, and that is equal to 339 square centimeters. So now what's next? Well, we'd have to divide out the 37.68. 37.68. So 339 divided by 37.68 happens to be 8.99 equals 6 plus the height. Well, now we have to subtract the 6. Well, 8.99, I'm going to call that 9. And so 9 minus 6, that means the height is 3. The height is 3. So now I take that and I come over here. I put the height of 3. And now I just do my math. 3.14 times 36 times 3, because 6 squared is 36. I get my volume is 339. And that's going to be feet. Well, it actually comes out to 339.12. But since we're rounding it to the nearest whole number, 339 feet cubed. I did not plan it this way. 2 in a row where we get the same number. But that's what it comes out to. The volume, 339 feet squared. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter. You just have to be logical, sequential. You got to keep yourself organized. You have to persevere and get through these. This is training you. You are training to be successful. whether you want to do these long drawn out problems or not. Ladies and gentlemen, your quick right, your second one, find the height of the cylinder with a volume of 904.32 millimeters cubed. And they give you a picture. You might want to jot it down, write your dimensions, all that stuff so you can finish off your last quick right. You know I'm going to say, hey, give me some questions tomorrow in class. After you begin working on your assignment, you might come up with some. And you got to finish off your 45 minutes using aggressiveness and urgency, using time effectively. I'm going to say a new term, or a new phrase. I got a new phrase. It's going to be all-out effort, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give all-out effort into doing the best we can. When your timer's up, you're done. Come to see me tomorrow, and let's learn some more. Ladies and gentlemen, you rock. It's always a pleasure being a part of your success.